Imagine waking up one morning and finding that half the words you know have disappeared. Not just random words, but entire concepts. Colors you can't name, emotions you can't describe, and ideas you can't even grasp because the word for them are just gone. Would you still be the same person? Would you still think the same way? It sounds like science fiction, but in a way this happens to us all the time. Our perception of reality is shaped and sometimes even limited by the language we speak. For centuries, we assumed that language was just a tool for expressing thoughts that existed independently in our minds, that corresponded to different objects in reality. But starting in the 19th and 20th centuries, philosophers began to question this assumption. They argued that language doesn't just describe reality, it creates a structure that we think within. This is a shift that we call the linguistic turn. Many philosophers, from Plato to Russell to Schopenhauer, have theorized about how our human minds project a version of reality that, like a lens, filters the way we perceive the world. You don't just experience raw reality, you experience a world that has already been shaped and categorized by the words you have. For example, if your language divides colors differently, you might literally see colors in a different way. But nobody took this idea further than Ludwig Wittgenstein. He famously said, "The limits of my language mean the limits of my world." He argued that language isn't just a neutral system, it's a set of rules that we follow without even realizing it. Meaning isn't just in the words themselves. Meaning comes from how we use these words. Now, think about the word game. What exactly is a game? Is it something with rules? Something competitive? Something fun? Chess is a game. Soccer is a game. But is throwing a ball against a wall and catching it a game? What about improv theater or political strategy? There's no single definition of game that covers every possible example. And yet, we all understand what a game is. That's because language isn't about strict definitions. It's about the way words work in different situations. If Wittgenstein was right, that means philosophy itself might just be a struggle against our own language. Many of the biggest philosophical problems, what is truth, what is time, what is free will, might not be deep cosmic mysteries. They might just be ways that our language tricks us into asking the wrong questions. Because these definitions or concepts have no meaning in reality themselves, but only in our linguistic perception of reality. But if language shapes our thoughts, does that mean that we're trapped inside it? Some believe that our language set the boundaries of what we can imagine and thus our entire reality. Others argue that we can think beyond language, we just cannot put those thoughts into words. Just because our language limits us to a version of reality, do we have to escape those entrapments, or just go on with our lives? The debates and questions about language and reality are still very much going on. Please leave your thoughts in the comments if you want to. You're very open to share. Thank you.